Man, the skipper of the San Diego Padres, Mike Shildt, brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union. It's not big bank banking, it's better. Mike Shildt is with us. Congratulations on the win last night.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Good morning.
Good morning to you. This is Skip. This is usually the time where we are stretching our legs. I was going to tell the story about my wife almost burning the house down last night. That's a true story. And so
Wow.
this is a new one, right? We go right into the hard hitting interview. First of all, congratulations on the Braves series. Congratulations on the win last night. When your Padres are playing like that, man, they are a tough team to beat, and they are a really fun team to watch.
I don't know what, if anything, I'm going to say is more interesting than your wife burning the house down. Maybe.
Yeah, give me the story.
I'll tell you the
Go
story.
ahead.
So Skip, we have some baseball gloves in the house that need to be broken in. Now, typically, I would do it, but she got it in. She has a glove. I got a glove. My son Bo has a glove. And she goes, I'm reading about I'm reading about breaking these in, and I want to try something. So I'm sure you've heard of the method of putting them in the oven, putting a little lotion on there and putting them in the oven. So she was going to go to work on hers again last night. She had forgotten, though, that she had stored some donuts in the oven, a box full of donuts. So she turns the oven on to crank it up and get it ready to put her glove in. And forgot the donuts. They caught flames. Smoke was billowing out through our house. My 6-year-old ran in crying, "Dada, there's a fire." So I ran in. Our house smells like a campfire. We did end up getting it out without needing the assistance of the fire department. But it was it was a very eventful night. Meanwhile, your guys are in the background playing very well. So that was our night last night. She almost burned the house down. But the gloves feel great.
Nice and broken in?
They feel nice and broken in and soft and everything else. She was storing the donuts in there also, Skip, to keep me away from them, which is also the funny part.
I think it's hilarious. What a great story.
Yeah, it was a good one.
I love you breaking in gloves at your home. It says a lot.
we live it, man. 24 hours a day. My little guy's
Awesome.
6 years old. He plays his very last T-ball game today. So on to the next level, which is really cool.
Love it. I love it.
I'm just glad you guys didn't get struck by lightning in the
God,
last inning
man.
there. I understand wanting to get that thing in and not have to sit around for 3 hours to get the last out or two, but it looked like it was getting kind of dicey at the end of the game there.
It was absolutely getting dicey. And you want to talk about a slow heartbeat for Robert Suarez. I mean, one of the louder cracks of thunder I've ever heard with lightning to boot right on top of each other, which obviously, it means it's getting close. Right in the middle of his delivery and pitch, and just calmly just throws a 99-mile-an-hour fastball in the black.
He did not flinch. I watched it.
It's like honking in your backswing.
And he'd be a great golfer, man. He could take. I mean, talk about being in the zone. Now, every foul ball they hit, though, Skip, I was like, oh, God, here we go. They're going to – that guy was up there battling, and I go, they're gonna bang this game with 2 strikes, just like they did. I think it was in St. Louis a couple weeks ago for 3 hours. Those games got to be nerve-wracking for you.
I put the weather out of my mind. Honestly, it's like, I can't come close to controlling it. We'll just play. And Marvin Hudson, the crew chief, came over in between innings of the 8th and told me what was going on. He said, "Hey, man, we're going to ride this thing out." I said, "Marvin, let it ride, bro. Let's play." And, we got through it.
Now, I always see, we're talking to the skipper, Mike Shildt, here on Ben and Woods this morning. So I always see this on, like, people will tweet stuff like, well, it's now an official game. And so how does that work? If the weather team looks at it and says, no, we're not going to be able to play the rest of the night. You've played 8 1/3 innings. What are the rules there?
Yeah, you play. I mean, if you're we had the lead after the 5, once they hit after the, bottom of the 5th inning, became an official game. So then it's just a matter of, they'll call it. I mean, have a rain delay, they'll wait and, try to resume play. But if they don't, the win goes to us. If it's tied, it's a different scenario. We gotta, play it out.
How's the weather factoring in today? And how much do you look at that, just knowing sometimes that can affect pitching if you've got to take, take a break and a guy's already gotten warm, you can't bring it up. How much do you have to think about that before a game?
I don't know about today. I mean, I'm just walking out, and it's overcast. But again, I don't put a lot of mental energy into the weather. What you mentioned though about that is a little bit of a challenge. I don't play weatherman there either, but I do think about it. And that's one of the things that plays heavily into the decision about whether to start a game or not. Is your starting pitching? It's like you don't want to. Everybody in the league gets it, regardless of home or road. But it's the biggest challenge for people that are in a way different pay grade than I am to have to make that decision. But it's a challenging one because you have the full house at Petco or the other day in Atlanta on a Saturday night, and there's 40-something thousand people there excited to see a Major League Baseball game. So you want to make sure you take care of them, but you don't want to start a game, especially knowing if there's a doubleheader, how it's going to compromise your pitching and then burn a starter. So, they make the decision, but I stay out of it. Whatever they tell me to do, we do. The bigger challenge, like Ben Fritz, our bullpen coach, was talking last night, do you ever think about in the seventh, because it was starting to, drizzle a little bit, and there was some thought about Josh, their clubhouse guy, came in and dugout told me right at the top of the seventh, hey, it's coming soon. And do you ever think about using the closer then, right? You got to lead in and just shutting it down. I can't. I don't know. I can't live in that world. Plus, at the big league level, they're going to wait a couple hours, so the legitimacy of it being rained out is probably not very high. But then you play weatherman, and look, man, it's I got my hands full just managing teams.
I was going to say, there's probably
a lot of variables to it.
There's probably enough to think about without having to plan moves that you don't necessarily have to plan until they happen. But just one of those weird things that when we're watching at home going, man, all right, yeah, I didn't really think about that. And like I said, every time he fouled one off of Suarez, I'm like, oh, boy, just let him get through this thing. Talking to the skipper, Mike Shildt, here on Ben and Woods, I thought Michael King did really well last night. I mean, the pitch that Candelario hit for a home run, that ball moved. I mean, you can see it on TV. It moved 2 feet. It literally it just moved right down the middle. I thought he did a great job. I wanted to ask you, though, because they showed it on TV. When you went out to get him last night, was he mad that you took him out?
Michael's a competitor, man. He wants to pitch. So I don't know. I mean, look, I have no issue with a guy that has some level of frustration coming out of a ball game.
Yeah, I figured.
I don't, I really don't. It doesn't bother me at all. It used to, earlier in my career, I'd take it personally, and then I'd no. Well, I would wait, and this was, 15 years ago. I was like, heck no, man. I'd way rather prefer even to come in the dugout. You got a problem with it? I got no issue. I want guys that want to stay in the game that like to compete. It's way better than going out and a guy looking over at you, during the inning going, hey, man,
whenever you're
what do
ready.
you think, man? What are you thinking out there? How's that bullpen doing? That guy ready yet? I mean, I'm at a disengagement. So we're at a trip. So come. Nah, man, that ain't it. So I don't know. I mean, Michael was, competing his tail off, and he knew that he wanted to go deep in the game to do the best he could to save our bullpen, and he was able to accomplish that. He did his part, and then it was time for Winder to do his part, which he did.
I figured as much. I really did. When I saw him walk off, I went, oh, all right. I didn't want to come out. I love it. I love it, too.
Talking to the skipper, Mike Shildt, here. It's our manager's report, a special foreplay edition. And obviously, tough news about Xander Bogaerts yesterday. And I know it's a next man up mentality, and you've got some depth now with Arise and Solano and calling up Peralta yesterday. But as the manager, is there a mental component as well to make sure your guys don't take bad news to heart and let it affect the team when something like that happens?
Yeah, it's part of the job. I mean, listen, we're going to miss the heck out of Xander. We're going to support him clearly. We're going to be there for him through his journey back. We're still trying to gather information to see how long that's going to take. But I'm not a blind optimist, but an optimist that think he'll heal quickly. And I know Bogey takes care of himself really well, which will be a factor in his rehab. So we're going to miss him. The guys are going to clearly miss him. The one thing about baseball is that, there's a lot of resiliency to it. You play every day, things happen. Players get used to, transition and on rosters and, moves. And so it really is that next man up mentality. And, we're gonna, figure out a way to continue to play good baseball and, win games. That's what this group's about. So we'll miss him. And like I said, we'll support him and, we'll find the combination today that, allows us to go compete.
Well, I'll tell you, talking to Mike Shildt here on Ben and Woods this morning, watching the pregame, again, this is all on television. You couldn't see it or you were in the dugout, but Peralta comes in, and his pregame interview where he talked about his journey and struggle to get back in the big leagues almost brought me to tears. He got choked up talking about it too. And then to see him in the dugout last night, a literal Padre killer over the years, Mike, pumping guys up, really fired up to be there. Ended up getting an RBI last night. It's so nice to see guys like him and Arise come in and contribute right away, number one. But the attitude that they've brought, they look and feel like they've been Padres for a while. And, Peralta just got there yesterday. That was pretty refreshing to see. It's got to be that for you and AJ as well, I would imagine.
Oh, yeah, nice, super refreshing. Another good quality veteran, been there, hungry still, experienced player. And, they come from different places, but they all bring the same, end mindset, and that's I'm here to win baseball games. That between, Rye's still younger in his career, but has the heart of a champion. And Solano I've known, since his rookie ball days when he was 16, and is just a pro's pro. And Peralta I've known since he was a pitcher rehabbing, 100 years ago in his early career. And I know his journey and his heart for the game and his desire to compete. So, we're excited to have him. And David's a really enthusiastic guy, and I love the enthusiasm he's going to bring to this club.
I'm curious if you have any thoughts on your team's struggles against left-handed pitching recently. I mean, you had the great win against Max Fried, who's been unbelievable, but then the other, I think, 4 recent starts against lefties, not scoring any runs. You guys normally mash lefties. Is there anything like you're seeing there?
I think it's a combination of things. You're right. I mean, I like to bet on our club, and it's, individual performances against lefties. Fact of the matter is it hasn't been as good as those histories, dictate. But, and we've also faced some tough lefties, faced some tough righties. I mean, it's the big leagues. You're going to face tough pitching. So no alibis here, but we can't ignore the fact that, facing guys like Lodol and Suarez and, Abbott was good the other day. And Sale, of course, is no walk in the park. But, yeah, we clearly are aware of it, and I do think it'll normalize.
All right, well, I know you got a game to get ready to. We appreciate you joining us early this morning. Hopefully another series win. I think that would make it 6 out of 7 today, and then a safe trip back to Petco Park to face the Yankees this weekend. We'll see you out at the ball yard, Skip.
Yeah, looking forward to today, looking forward to the weekend, and, hope the microwave's okay.
Yeah. Microwave's fine. We need a new oven, but the microwave actually made it. Thanks so much.
Mike Shildt, manager of the San Diego Padres, brought to you by San Diego County Credit Union. It's not big bank banking.